The Ford Galaxie. The name started out as a trim line on the 1959 Ford Fairlane. They used the name Galaxie to tie into the global excitement around the space race. The following year, it became the name used on the full-size Ford lineup. The Galaxie was a successful car in NASCAR, with teams winning races and championships throughout the 1960s. In 1965, the Ford Galaxie accounted for 48 NASCAR victories, with Holman Moody drivers Ned Jarrett and Dick Hutcherson placing 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 1965 through 1968 Ford Galaxie. The reason for that is they're my personal favorites. Hopefully, their favorites are yours as well. The 1965 Galaxie was an all-new design for Ford. It was a more square, less rounded design. It featured vertically stacked dual headlamps and 2 square tail lamps. It was available as a 2- or 4-door hardtop and as a convertible. The new top-of-the-line designation was the Galaxie 500 LTD and Galaxie 500 XL. The LTD and the XL trim package were accessory upgrades for the base Galaxie model. Other full-size Ford models included the Custom and Custom 500 sedans. These were entry-level vehicles, and the 5 models of full-size wagons, all of which shared the Galaxie platform. However, none of these were Galaxies, and we'll save the details on those vehicles for another video. Ford offered several engine options for the Galaxie. Those included the 150 horsepower, 240 cubic inch Ford Big 6 Straight 6, the 200 horsepower, 260 cubic inch Challenger V8, the 250 horsepower, 352 cubic inch 4-barrel carbureted Thunderbird V8, the 300 horsepower, 390 cubic inch Thunderbird Special 4-barrel carbureted V8, and the 425 horsepower, 427 cubic inch Thunderbird High Performance V8. These were mated to either a 3-speed manual for the Challenger V8 and 6-cylinder, or a 4-speed manual with an 11-inch clutch for the Thunderbird V8s. A Cruise-O-Matic 3-speed automatic transmission was optional. Car Life magazine tested a 427 Galaxie and recorded a 0 to 60 time of 4.8 seconds. The big car crossed the quarter mile in 14.9 seconds at 97 miles per hour. The Galaxie 500 standard equipment list included a vinyl interior with cloth seating surfaces, a padded dash, a lighted ashtray, glove box and trunk, courtesy lighting, a clock, and a choice of 14 different exterior paint colors. Popular optional equipment included air conditioning, power steering and brakes, a swing-away steering wheel, power windows, and a 6-way power seat. The Galaxie proved to be popular with the American public as Ford dealers delivered 564,008 Galaxies in 1965. The 1966 Galaxie was slightly redesigned. The rear quarters of the car were smoother, and the body featured a centerline that stopped at the C-pillar. A new split grille was introduced, as were several new emblems. Ford rolled out a new model, the Galaxie 500 7-liter. It featured the new 345 horsepower, 428 cubic inch 4-barrel carbureted equipped Thunderbird V8. The 260 cubic inch V8 was replaced with the 289 cubic inch V8. However, Ford's horsepower rating stood at 200. The 8-track tape player was introduced as an option, with Ford boasting the ability to play up to 80 minutes of music. The LTD was no longer used on the Galaxie, as the LTD was to become its own model, even though they were built on the same platform, and it was essentially the same car. There were no other changes of note. Ford delivered 597,002 Galaxies for the 1966 model year.
This is Art Devlin at Lake Placid, New York, where a 67 Ford is just about ready to take off on this 40-meter Olympic ski jump. Watch. We want you to see just how strong, how quiet this Ford really is. This Ford is built to take it. It's the strongest Ford we've ever built. Jake, that was terrific. How was the Ford?
Real strong.
It sure looks great. Think you can do it again?
Why not? We'll try.
Okay. Now let's see if the Ford is still quiet. Still quiet. The 67 Ford, quieter because it's stronger. Stronger because it's better built.
1967 brings another remodel for the Galaxie and the full-size Ford lineup. This is more of a Coke bottle design in line with the previous year's Fairlane. The hood, grille, and bumper come to a point in the center of the car, and a styling line splits the two front headlamps and runs all the way down to the rear of the car. The roof lines are rounded and it's smoother, less boxy overall. The Galaxie interior is redesigned and new safety features introduced, such as a large padded hub in the center of the steering wheel, an energy-absorbing steering column, padded interior surfaces, recessed controls on the instrument panel, front shoulder seat belts, and the introduction of a dual reservoir brake master cylinder. Ford introduces the XL nameplate and drops the 7-liter model as it becomes a performance option on the new Ford XL. 1967 will also be the last year one could order the 428 Thunderjet in a Galaxie, and it was the end of the 427 R-Code V8 as well. Only 24 427 R-Code Galaxies were known to have been built. There were no other changes of note. Ford delivers 426,941 Galaxies for the 1967 model year. 1968 sees yet another revision. The front end of the Galaxie is completely restyled. There's a new grille, the headlamps are now aligned horizontally, and the parking lights and turn signal indicators are incorporated into the front fenders and wrap around to serve as side marker lights. Mid-68 sees the base 289 cubic V8 replaced by a 302 cubic inch V8, and side marker lights are added to the rear quarters. There were no other changes of note. Ford delivers 448,376 Galaxies for the 1968 model year. By 1968, the nameplate Galaxie began its slow march to the scrap heaps of nameplates. 1974, the Galaxie 500 became a trim level on the Ford LTD. That would also be the last time it would make an appearance on a production car in North America. Galaxies were sold outside of North America. Australia had a Galaxie GE. That car was built from 1964 to 1968. And Ford Brazil produced a Galaxie from 1968 all the way up till 1983. All of those cars in Brazil were four-door sedans. The name Galaxie was a perfect fit for a car when it was introduced. The space program was new, it was exciting. But by the 1970s, what was once thought impossible became commonplace, and the excitement around outer space and all things having to do with rockets kind of faded away, and so did the name Galaxie. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That helps other people see it. Also consider subscribing. I've got a lot of content like this on the channel. Like this video over here, it has to do with the Ford LTD, and we cover all the LTDs in that one. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll see you.